nights I tell the sky a story, and I don't have to say a word, 'cause words are useless in the cosmos. Words are stupid and absurd. Some nights I tell the stars our story, how we raised intrepid generals, taught them to fight for paper money, invisible lines and minerals. I tell a tale. Will the computer love the sunset? Will we midwife our demise? Can it calculate my love? Will it know how to be kind? You can't just rewind. Some nights I plead into the skyland, some nights I scream into the void, some nights I feel like I'm a man, other nights I'm just a boy. In between the time I'm getting, you don't find how much you're nothing. Ain't that something? Guess that's the fun in living. Some days I talk to the horizon, I do my damnedest not to swear. Some days I plead with the horizon, it don't even know I'm there. I sure do care. Some nights I tell the sky a story, I promise her we do our best. I think that I might die from laughing at the infinite jest. I need some rest. In between the time I'm getting, you don't find how much you're nothing. Ain't that something? Guess that's the fun in living. In between the time I'm getting, you don't find how much you're nothing. Ain't that something? Guess that's the fun in living. Okay, so a nice example of what we call Travis picking in this song by Jesse Wells. Will the Computer Love the Sunset? Been listening to this guy a lot recently, and I think it's really worth learning. Okay, let's as I say, Travis picking the best I can with re-entrant tunes ukulele. And we call it Travis picking because we're supposed to be alternating with our thumb. Okay, so you've got the tabs here on screen, but I think more importantly what you should do is just download the lyric sheet with the chords. You're not really going to follow the tabs, and you know this is open to variations. You don't have to rigidly stick to what I'm doing, because I don't, and Jesse doesn't in his video as well, and I'll try to explain some of the things that he does. Okay, so on the guitar that Jesse plays, he's got it on capoed up on the 5th fret, so he's actually playing a C chord, starting in the C chord. So that gives us F, and that works out nicely on the ukulele. One of the things that I find difficult with Travis picking on the ukulele with re-entrant tuning is that I want this alternating shape, where if I've got F, it doesn't leave me very many places to go. So this is kind of cool. And the C chord, you can't go down, so there's no low G, so it's difficult to play that. So F is kind of good. And what you can see that I'm doing here, I've got this pickup bar there, just leading in. So just harmonies, and I can go up to this F shape, which is just 5, 5, 3. Okay, and I'm not going to play the 4th string at all. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to alternate between the F on the 5th fret and the C open, and just play these 2 notes in between. And you can see the pattern there, which gives you this syncopated Travis picking effect. Okay, so syncopated. because the note with the thumb plucked with the thumb here, this note A plucked with the thumb there is a little bit stronger than the first note on the bass. Okay, so you got that little bit of syncopation in it, and then we get down to the C chord then. Okay, now there's lots of different ways of playing it, and that's what I'm doing. So. And you can see then I'm just going to link back up to the F chord again by this hammer on, and then I've got a G. And you could play it open. Okay, all right. So basically, with Travis picking, and hopefully that if you're a paid up member, then this is something that you should already be able to do, because I don't do a lot of training for beginners. But it's all about keeping that thumb going up and down. Okay. Now listening to the live version, the live recording of Jesse singing this. I've put this on every time. I've put this little link. He doesn't always do it, so sometimes he'll just stay on the chord and then go back to the F chord, and sometimes he does this little hammer on back to it. Okay, now I don't think that he really thought about it. He probably plays it different every time. Every time he plays it live, it's probably a different way. So that's up to you to put it in if you want to. But that's basically the pattern there. Okay, so into that. I tell the sky a story, and I don't have to say a word. Okay, and exactly the same. So we'll just do that a few times. Well, I'm sorry about the text on the tab. I found a terrible flaw in Guitar Pro where I had the page vertical ready to make the PDF for you to print. I spaced out the words nicely, and when I put it into horizontal mode, it messes them all up together, and it doesn't give me design mode in horizontal, so I can't move them. I'm stuck with that. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I haven't notated the music, the melody, just the picking pattern, and that's why you've only got a tab today as well, not the notation, because I really can't see the point in reading the notes. You just got to learn that nice alternating thumb. Because words are useless in the cosmos, just stupid and absurd. Okay, so we do that twice, and then we get to this little run here, from C to G to A minor. Now that's not what Jesse does on the guitar. Okay, on the guitar he goes down in the bass. Okay, so he goes C to B to A minor, which is something that all of us who play folk guitar, we do this all the time, just moving down the bass from C, the tonic, to the relative minor. So you could go, if you were playing in a key of G, you'd go G, F sharp, back to E. If I try to do that on the ukulele then with a C here, C to B gives me C major 7, and that's not the effect that I want. Okay, I want to go down in the bass, so I can't do that. So I've decided to insert an extra chord, G, so I can go C, B to A like that, but without this C major 7 feel, which is wrong. So this is what I'm going to do then. Words are useless in the cosmos, words are stupid and absurd. And then a little hammer onto that note B. So pluck the note G, the chord G. There you see, and then just hammering on A to B, and then into the A minor chord. Okay, and then dropping my little finger on to play this note G here. And with the ukulele only having 4 strings, then it's debatable what this chord is. So I'm calling it A minor 7 because Jesse's playing this with the capo on his guitar. He's playing this shape, this E minor shape, and then dropping his little finger on to play the note G. There, okay, not G, but yeah, G. Okay, Okay, and then you notice then that the first verse just stops there. And dropping your little finger, and you can go back into the next verse. Okay, and then the second verse goes now we taught intrepid generals to fight for paper money, invisible lines and minerals. So that's into the A minor. Drop your little finger on. I tell a tale, and he adds an extra line there. Okay, so I've put that as a second ending here, where he goes from this note G here to the F sharp. Okay, and again on the guitar, then he's got an extra string, and he actually plays a D7 chord. So I'm calling that D7. All right, what some people call the Hawaiian D7. It doesn't have a D note in it, so it's implied. So it's an implied D7 chord, even though there's no D. Okay, and then we can go back into the next verse. So verse 3. Will the computer love the sunset? Will we midwife our demise? Can it calculate my love? Will it know how to be kind? And in the third verse, you can't just rewind into that. I think that's a really nice chord change as well. Okay, and then there's a fourth verse. Lights us bleed into the skyland. Some nights I scream into the void. Sometimes I feel like I'm a man, other nights I'm just a boy. And then there's no extra line at the end. So it just stays on that chord there. So that's what I've got here, just staying on that chord there. And then he moves into the chorus. And again, Jesse, sometimes he does this little bridge. But you have to play that and sing the first in between the line. Okay, so moving into the chorus, then we've got exactly the same start. Yeah, that's all messed up, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to go F down to D minor. So between the time I'm given. Okay, so into D minor, and I've got my pattern is. A little bit like that, but you can do it any way you want. Between the time we're given, you don't find out much of nothing. Okay, just moving along. And then we're going back into this run. C, G, A minor. You don't find out much of nothing. Into the A minor. The A minor 7. Ain't that something? And this is a really nice touch as well. Great songwriting skills. This is why I really like this song. Okay, so A minor 7 with the G there, D7 with the F sharp, so down a tone, okay, and then down a semitone, and then down a semitone again, into what I would say actually looks like an F chord, but given that this is D7, oh, that feels like D minor 7. Okay, so. Ain't that something? D7, guess that's the fun in. And D minor 7, living, and then back to C here. Whoops, which I didn't put on. There we go, just give that a C. So that's a C chord, and that stays on that C chord there. And again, when you get to that part, and you can do that little hammer on kind of thing that Dylan and Paul Simon did all the time, and Joni Mitchell, of course. Just stay on that C chord for a while. How many bars? Okay, so we've got the last half of bar 15. Okay, and then we've got bar 16 and 17 there. We're just going to stay on that chord. and then we're going to move back into the next verse, and that just continuously. G, A minor, minor 7, D7. The line between the time between D minor 7, you don't see, and G, and A minor 7, D7, D minor 7, and C. And then he repeats the chorus. Between the 10, D minor, and C, and G, E minor, A minor, D7, D minor 7, and back to C. Okay, and he's got a nice little bluesy ending for that one as well. So I'll just show you the ending here. Into our C chord, which I didn't put on. We're going to fix that for the PDF, so don't worry about that. Okay, so into that C chord. That's hammer on, and our little bluesy ending is here with this little chromatic run where we go from D to D sharp to E, and I can hammer on and then play the E above on the second string, and then G and A, and then play that C again, and then G7. C, G7. Okay, so going to the dominant, which is something that we do a lot. G7, and back to C. Like that. Okay, so C, G7. Like that. So finishing the chorus then. That's something. Ain't that something? Like that. Okay, so simple song with easy chords. Okay, just easy chords, Travis picking, but just beautifully crafted and so well played as well. So I'm a big fan, and I hope you're going to check him out, because really there aren't very many people writing songs this good at the moment. So please check out Jesse Wells on his YouTube. Thanks for watching. See you next time.